Hello, welcome to الكرامة news service, and we start our top stories for today with the current affairs in Libya. A military source said that military units in Al-Lithi district foiled a terrorist suicide bombing. The source said the car bomb driven by a suicide bomber have been targeted by the armed forces near Hamza mosques in Al-Lithi district, stressing that it didn't result in casualties in the armed forces. Unidentified gunmen kidnapped citizen Muhammad Ash'ari in eastern Shiha area, Derna city. A source in Derna city noted that the militant kidnapped Ash'ari and took him to an unknown destination. The source added that there were no information about Ash'ari until the moment. Independent team of political dialogue in Khairat said dialogue is the only way to resolve the current Libyan crisis. The independent team said in a statement that Libya undergoes a deep historic curve, threatening the national entity, especially in its security, its resources and its borders. They also stressed the tragedy and suffering of people who are wary of conflict and strife. They further said elderly people, women and children all fled their homes and their houses were destroyed. The team also stressed the need to continue the dialogue in order to end the crisis in the country and to realize the supreme national interests. And still Libya, European Union Foreign Policy Federica Mogherini said Libya representatives participating in the talks sponsored by the United Nations in Morocco are carrying their country's future in their hands. Mogherini said it's time for all Libyan parties to demonstrate to their people that they are ready for union in order to build a common future for the country. She also noted that the political agreement introduced by the United Nations represents a good compromise for Libya and meet the aspirations of the Libyan people and security unity of the country. Black smoke was seen rising from Egypt's North Sinai today after terrorist Daesh militants attacked several military checkpoints on the peninsula amid reports of fierce fighting between the militants and the Egyptian military in the area. In the coordinating assault, at least 17 soldiers and 70 terrorist militia were killed. Extremist Daesh Egyptian affiliate Sinai province claimed responsibilities for the attacks. The Egyptian army said 5 checkpoints were hit by about 70 terrorists and the fighting raged for more than 8 hours. One security source put the number of militants at about 300 armed with heavy weapons and anti-craft weaponry. Security sources said the militants had planned to lay siege to Sheikh Zayed town, where most of the fighting has been concentrated by hitting all army checkpoints simultaneously. Terrorist Daesh group has urged its followers to escalate attacks during the Islamic holy month of Ramadan, which started in mid-June, though it did not specify Egypt as a target. In April, the army extended by 3 months a state of emergency imposed in parts of Sinai. Terrorist Daesh militants threatened to turn the Gaza Strip into another of the Middle East domes, accusing Hamas, the organization that rules the Palestinian territory, of being insufficiently stringent about religious enforcement. The video statement issued from terrorist Daesh stronghold in Syria and uploaded to a social media website yesterday said that was a rare public challenge to Hamas. A masked Daesh member said in a video, "We swear that what is happening in the Lebanon today, and in particular the Yarmouk camp, will happen in Gaza," referring to extremist Daesh advances in Syria, including a Damascus district founded by Palestinian refugees. Palestinian political analyst Jihad Harb said Daesh has criticized Hamas for failing to implementing Islamic rule in Gaza. Extremist Daesh groups also taken over swathes of Iraq and has claimed attacks in Egypt, Libya, Tunisia and Yemen. The bodies of 8 of the 30 Britons killed in the Tunisian hotel attack last Friday were repatriated to the UK today. A military C-17 flew the victims back to Bright Norton Air Base in southeast England, where the plane was made by a Royal Air Force RAF military honor guard. The Tunisian Health Ministry completed its last formal identification today and said that 30 Britons and 8 other foreigners were killed in the beach and hotel attack when a gunman opened fire on holiday makers. The massacre, as a Susi resort claimed by terrorist Daesh militants, was the worst such attack in Tunisia's modern history. The health ministry said all 38 victims had been formally identified, including the 30 Britons, 3 Irish citizens, 2 Germans, 1 Belgian, and 1 Portuguese and 1 Russian nationals. The gunman targeted only foreigners and their shooting range on the Imperial Marhaba Beach Hotel before he was shot dead by police. The head of Al-Qaeda in Pakistan was among 4 militants killed in a police raid near the eastern city of Lahore this week, a provincial official said today. The Home Minister for Punjab province named the Al-Qaeda leader only as Abdul Ali in a news conference and said he and 3 other operatives were planning an attack on government figures. He told reporters that their leader, who was giving them the briefings, who was leading the entire team, was the head of Al-Qaeda in Pakistan. His name was Abdul Ali. The minister later confirmed by telephone that Abdul Ali was one of the 4 killed on Monday when Pakistani forces raided a hideout in the small town of Rizwala, a few kilometers outside Lahore. A huge cache of weapons, including AK-47s, rocket launchers, and suicide vests and laptops, was seized in the raid. Police said at the time an Al-Qaeda presence remains in Pakistan since a killing of top leader Osama bin Laden in a 2011 raid by U.S. forces in the Pakistani city of Abbottabad. Many terrorists from the western region near Afghanistan have fled to other parts of the country. Officials said security forces press on with the ground and air offensive in North Waziristan. On to Indonesia. The bodies of 16 of those killed after a military transport plane plunged into a residential area shortly after takeoff in northern Indonesia were brought home to Jakarta today. The plane was carrying 122 people when it crashed in the city of Medan. A military spokesman said 135 people were confirmed dead, including all those on board. The Metro TV news channel said at least 141 bodies had been brought to an early hospital, indicating around 20 people were killed on the ground. The coffins arrived at a military base in Jakarta. They were received by tearful relatives and Indonesian President Joko Widodo with a military ceremony. The president said he had ordered an in-depth investigation into the cause of the incident and a fundamental restructuring of weapons management and the procurement. According to the Aviation Safety Network, 10 fatal crashes involving Indonesian military or police aircraft have occurred over the past decade. And finally, from India, heavy rainfall in northern Uttarakhand state has triggered landslides today, leading to the closure of Haldwani-Ramja highway. Many tourists were stranded on the highway. Trees and rocks have fallen on the road, making it difficult for the tourists to travel. The Indian Meteorological Department IMD said the country received around 189.5 millimeters of rain in June, as against a normal of around 163.6 millimeters. The rainfall was not only good but also well distributed, with 95% of the country's total landmass receiving normal or excess showers. Annual monsoon season is vital for India, as half of its continent lacks irrigation. The rain supports 2/3 of India's 1.25 billion population who live in rural areas and rely on farming. But excessive rains cause many problems such as floods, landslides, and waterborne diseases. My audience, that is the wrap-up of our top stories for today. For much more, you can check our website, www.watanalkarama.tv. Thanks very much for watching us. My greeting, Rانيا البليدي.